elements to support the African youth and also support French language and the French language and Francophonie as a mechanism in the African continent. It's a new strategy here in Egypt to benefit from it, all the Africans on a large scale, as students, leaders, countries, and also as European countries will benefit from it through benefiting the social impact of this sustainable development that is happening in the African continent right now, upon which it will decrease the motivations of illegal migration or legal migration. Yes, this is the main motive that could help all the countries aside. We are here to inaugurate the new education building. It's not just an education building or a high number of fedin to be added to the other universities in Burj Al Arab, but it has a great invitation, it has a great impact for many strategies and policies, whether from the French side or the Egyptian side. Yes, Sango University in Burj Al Arab city has its own connotation as it links with other universities existing at the same place. It's related to applied technology. We do have a Japanese Egypt University, Japan University, Burj Al Arab University. The industrial zone that we do have in Burj Al Arab could provide different kind of industrial services in order to work as an integrated part in the field of applied technology. Burj Al Arab city is benefiting from Sangar University by developing the whole city, in addition to adding different educational buildings to the city in order to make this city full of different and diversified universities in the site of New Burj Al Arab, because this area is full of AI and Egypt is giving great interest to the part of sciences that could help all the national interest and international interest and the African interest and also the French interest, as it supports Sango University, the French language international university, in the service of African development. As France understand that Africa is in the main gate of Africa, having such a university here in Egypt expresses a great and mutual French and Egyptian cooperation that could into the best interest of the African interest and both countries, and gives great interest from the Egyptian side as they are upgrading the post-university education. They are giving great interest into applied technologies after postgrads in order to provide applied technological solutions in order to comprehend and also to confront all climate change issues, in order to know how to run in cultural institutions. All these departments are supporting sustainable development as a field.
حضراتكم مشاهدينا في هذه
Stay here in the full coverage of this very important incident in the Egyptian side, having His Excellency President El Sisi and his counterpart Emmanuel Macron to upload together the official inauguration of the Senghor University in Alexandria, Burj Al Arab city, the French language international university in the service of African development. It's a very historical project that has a very important impact on the field of culture and also in the field of education, heritage-wise, culture-wise, and also in the Francophonic and Egyptian relations. Having such a university here in Egypt is a very comprehensive model of Francophonic and Egyptian partnership to be added to higher education ecosystem and could add to the soft power here in Egypt in order to work on the great impact of the Egyptian side in all fields. But here I would like to notify, without having the sustainability and stability and security here in Egypt, we didn't manage to have such a university here in Egypt. So without security we won't able to have such a dedication building to be scalable on that large scale. Yes, Egypt is a private perspective that God is providing great stability and security in its own homeland. So it's the main headquarter of different important and significant events, and also different organizations and countries are here to fill their own trust here in Egypt because they have launched this new strategy, which is having the new establishment of a new headquarter of Senghor University, which is one of the integrated, which is a part and parcel of having this university in order to achieve the SDGs, in order to provide all the components of creation, innovation, and also upgrading all the ecosystem of new and higher education mechanisms in order to play a very important role, not just in leader posts, but also in ministerial posts in their own countries in the African continent. Yes, it provides a great opportunity for innovation and creation and creativity in order to provide great solutions to apprehend and confront the challenges that the African continent is facing. Yes, innovation and creativity is one of the many important methodologies in order to upgrade by studying on the culture, health departments, and also different departments to be included in the university. We are going to notify all these specialities and master degree programs to be provided in Senghor universities for their own students. Yes, general institutions and public projects and management of general heritage and managing also biology, biodiversity, and anything related to climate change, governance, and also the governance of management. All these things could help to achieve sustainable development and building the capacity of the students to be able to be leaders in their own countries. Yes, they are here to continue. Senghor here is to continue the role being provided by the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie. So it aims to achieve to have great diversity in heritage, culture, in order to be the main bridge that links and tie among all cultures. Speaking about the details of the new buildings here in this university, as we have mentioned previously, as we can see in front of our own sites here, we can see with our own eye we do have 10 fed-in capacity provided by the governmental bodies in order to be capable to have great academic capabilities to be more upgraded and and have high qualified technologies to equip their own buildings. And we do have the new digital library with its own belongings. And we do have new buildings to serve the residents of the whole university. We do have new ecosystem that are more diversified through using different institutional visits and anything related to scientific conferences to be held, webinars, trainings, and also training, practical training, professional training for its own students. So it provides a very comprehensive basis, scientific-wise and also practical-wise, in order to make the grad of such a kind of university to cope up with the international market and know more about the market needs and to meet the market needs, especially in the field of the African context, including the challenges that the African continents are facing. Yes, African continent and African communities have a lot of great enriching resources, so it needs someone who can use all these resources, and also these are one of the main objectives to have the message of Singapore University plan. Having new headquarters here in Egypt, it represents a very important step, a strategic step to be added for culture and innovation and creativity, as all international universities right now is working to achieve such a kind of a perspective, which is innovation and creativity confronting all the challenges that the society is facing. So this new irrigation is not just a new institutional education building, but it's a culture project. It's a new academic platform that able to have the African dimension and the extension of Francophonie as a perspective. This is the great description that we can touch through having such an international, the French language international university in the service of African development, that we are here to witness its own inauguration for its new headquarters in Burj Al Arab City on an Egyptian land, to make Egypt the great country that comprehend the culture of each country, and it's a trustworthy country related to stability and security in different perspectives, also to include great projects related to culture and education. So it's one of the very important inaugurations to be launched in the field of OIF, the new inauguration of new headquarters of the French Language International University and the service of African development in the new Burj Al Arab City.
مشاهدينا الكرام ونحن الآن نتابع على مدار اليوم.
We are here to see together a witness the inauguration of this single university in Burj Al Arab city. We can recall the Senegalese president picking Alexandria, the headquarters of Senegal University. This choice doesn't come by chance, but it has a great engagement with such a city. It has a very powerful engagement with all the people who can hear its own name. It has a good reputation in the field of culture. So it is the most important cities in the past decades. Yes, Egypt and Alexandria as one of the cities here in Egypt is playing a very important role related to prevailing knowledge. So the management team in Senegal University insisted having the new headquarters here in Alexandria. Maybe they could pick new administrative capital or any kind of a city, but they preserved the idea of having this new headquarters in Alexandria because they have loved the country and they have loved such a city full of knowledge, full of new arts departments here in Alexandria. So having new headquarters in Burj Al Arab city is not just moving a headquarters from a place to another, but also they are apprehending a specific identity, a specific culture, having or sticking to such a city. Yes, it's a simple personification to preserve the good Egyptian interest towards the African dimension of the Egyptian culture and the Egyptian identity. So we have the African dimension that we need to stick to. So we do have great ties and great connections and communications with different African communities. So we are here to play a very important part and parcel of representing the whole African countries and solving different issues in African context represents our own issues related to climate change, health-wise or culture-wise or agriculture-wise. If we're going to solve a problem in the African context, of course we consider it as one of its own, one of our own issues. Yes, it's not just about having a new headquarter of the Senegal University. Senegal University is providing a master degree programs in different fields related to sustainable development. All these programs could help somehow to upgrade the sustainable development in the African continent, making Egypt a part and parcel of these solutions. So the new headquarter has different dimensions, political-wise, culture-wise, social-wise, economical-wise, and also communication with the African continent there in the image. So Egypt was not a francophone country. It was there in Egypt since 1798 till 1801. So all these years have left a great impact on the Egyptian and French ties. So since then, Egyptian and French ties are long-term relations extended to large scale. Yes, printer house were there and also giving great interest towards the archaeological missions. Anything related to culture and art and education have started since then. So we didn't have such French presentation since then, but the ties were there. And during the past years, we can have a great communication with Egypt and France. Economical-wise, of course, we have witnessed that through a strategic partnership between Egypt and France, and they have signed different kind of conventions and agreements. But we do have culture and heritage agreements, and economical and political cooperation is there for a long period of time during the past time of years. And both presidents are there to strengthen their own strong ties with its own leadership, with its own people in the past few years, that could tell, of course, that there is a great depth of these such relations. Having Tsinghua University supported by the French government is a kind of a reflection of the Egyptian-French partnership and relationship in the field of higher education and also culture and applied sciences. Of course, Egypt is benefiting from the situation, and Africa is there, and France is there. So having all these stakeholders together in one place could benefit the whole parties and could be at the best interest of everyone who is going to be indulged in such applied applications and programs to provide sustainable solutions for the issues that the African continent is facing. Now we are not celebrating the irrigation of a new headquarter or a new campus for Senghor University in Alexandria, but we are here to witness the continuity of these French-Egyptian, African-Egyptian, African-Egyptian and French-Egyptian ties in all levels.
في تاريخ مصر.
It's a special day in the life of Egypt and in the field of OIF. This is the official irrigation of the new headquarters of the French Language International University in the service of African development in Burj Al Arab, in which we are going to have different cultures to be included. Yes, this university comes to play a very important, significant role. It's a new leading institution to have different dimensions, heritage-wise, culture-wise, the Francophone extension and the linkage of different cultures that they are playing together to be there. Yes, it represents a very live model of international cooperation in the field of higher education. Talking about such a kind of university, it has a lot of objectives related to the field of sustainable development. So in the context of globalization and different departments that this university is going to provide in order to achieve the motivation in order to upgrade all these capabilities, to be enrolled in such a university, to be great distinctive students in order to build their own capacities in innovation, creativity, and excellence, because there are a lot of challenges in the African. This could made us to be able to confront such bottlenecks. These challenges not just to be provided in culture but also in economy. This could come through the specialized programs in such field, whether in the field of management, culture, health, science, environment. All these departments could upgrade the capabilities of these students to be able to be official readers in order to have the scientific basis that they can help these students to confront the African challenges. They can find great solutions with a very good vision to provide what is new in the African continent. The African continent needs a great interest because it has full of welfare and natural resources. It needs to play a kind of a chance to upgrade and build the capacity of its own students. This new irrigation of this university, having both presidents of Egypt and France and having high qualified and high level individuals to attend here today, they are here in Egypt, especially in Burj Al Arab, to deliver a great message for the whole world that see that Egypt is there. Egypt is not just the land of stability and security, but it has a great impact in the field of heritage, culture, education, and Egypt gives great interest to higher education, as this university is contributing to be a strategic impact in the new higher education ecosystem, and it's going to be added as one of the great tools related to Egyptian soft power and also the great power of Egypt that could have its own impact in the African context. Egypt was there in the African continent since His Excellency President El Sisi through the mutual and exchanging meetings conducted by His Excellency and his own African counterparts. This could say that the great interest provided by our own government towards the whole levels of policy, international policies, based on balancing and great strategic politicians, and also having great ties with African countries, and also culture development and heritage. So what we are facing and seeing here today, having a new irrigation of Senghor University in Burj Al Arab from Alexandria, it's not here. We are not here by chance. It was the very core of having a great culture and heritage of knowledge. It was the new gate towards the knowledge world that could say that Alexandria is here, updated with new knowledge, new technologies. It has also different kind of universities that they are playing a very important role in line with Senghor University. All these together that could say there's a great depth in the Egyptian side in all levels. In front of you there is an image that could say the space in front of you, which is 10 Faden, the whole capacity of this university in the new headquarters of Burj Al Arab in branch. It's not just a building full of buildings, but there is a great interest that could say we're going to have a great duplication of its own capacity in the coming period of time. This will upgrade the number of students to be enrolled in such a university, having this huge capacity and using all the new technological and high qualified buildings. We do have conference halls that could have a large number of students students, and we do have a ceremony hall in which we are gonna celebrate together the graduation of its own students, and we are gonna launch this new event of it with having His Excellency President El Sisi and his counterpart Emmanuel Macron, in addition to different upgraded and high qualified buildings in order to support the fertilized environment, having all these capabilities that they're gonna work in such universities in order to help students to graduate to build the African community through building the African citizen here in Senghor University. Senghor University, in the service of African development, as it works under the umbrella of the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie. So it represents a very international and educational project, and it's an academic counterpart and a great educational chandelier. It will help its own students in all fields, not just in international cooperation, but also it will strengthen dialogues among cultures. Yes, it provides different programs, and there are a large number of students, and it shall be increased through this different space of 10 Feden. We are going to have different branches of such university. Let us say 17 branches in Europe, not just in Africa, and also having 50 partnerships with different 50 other universities that could say that Senghor University is playing a very important role in the field of African development, and that could say that Egypt is giving great interest toward education through Burj Al Arab headquarters. Yes, Senghor University had a headquarters here in Egypt of more than 35 years now. So the agreement being conducted especially with the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie in Egypt in 1989, and then opening this headquarters in Alexandria in 1990. And now they are opening this new university campus that could say that the Egyptian interest delivered for the higher education to build the African and Egyptian citizen, as Egypt is always concerned with the African continent and its own challenges that they are facing in the African context, that could help us as Egyptians to communicate together to reach how to develop the African individual to play a very important and impactful role in order to achieve SDGs in the Black continent.
هنا في مدينة الإسكندرية لا يتوقف
Here in
أبدا
Alexandria, the dialogue among Egypt and also different cultures. Of course, Sangha University is the very retour perspective about how to accomplish a kind of a dialogue. It's a very distinctive experience. It's a unique university as it have the African ambition and Egyptian identity. Having African students in those francophonic organizations, it has different organizations and different students with different cultures. Africans found their own selves here in the Egyptian deepest community. They are feeling comfortable while living with the new open Alexandrian community. They are there dealing with the Egyptian citizen in their own daily life. Yes, having Senghor University on Alexandria land, it has a very important and different and various messages away from just education. It has culture, social and historical dimensions. The African man, a woman, seeing himself or herself living in Alexandria in a very comfortable way of life, having a great life while he is composing his own life for the people. They have opened their own arms before all the new different nationalities. Having these Africans here in Egypt or just in Alexandria could allow a very cultural and economical and historical bridge between Egypt and the African continent. Yes, the new irrigation of the new building or the new headquarters of Senghor University is not just a kind of a symbol that could say that Egypt gives a great interest to African countries, but it says that Egypt's identity is an African state. We are talking now about a very important university, which is Senghor University. Karim Fikal, the executive or CEO of such a university, says that this capacity has a very big conference hall, has 470 candidates and has also 50 PCs. All of them are available for all the students in order to facilitate the education processes. And we do have a very high qualified sports gyms, and having large scale of these entertaining institutions to enable students who are working in such a place to feel home in the education-wise, the social-wise, and coexistence among students. Burj Al Arab city is not that far away from Alexandria. It's let us say half an hour away of Alexandria, and the previous headquarters there, Manshia, on a coastal overlooking headquarters. It allows also all the students to help to upgrade the education ecosystem in Senghor University. Yes, Senghor University is one of the academic branches or concepts or great components of the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie. So it supports education in the African continent. They are supporting youth in the African continent. Yes, it supports also all of the issues that the African continent is facing, especially in the context of sustainable development. So we can see all the programs in Senghor University is related to sustainable development. They are speaking about health, general health, nutrition. They're speaking also about management, how they're going to run cultural institutions, heritage, climate change, environment, and every kind of an issue related to sustainable development of Africa as a continent. And this is the great directiveness of France and Senghor University, as France is supporting such a university on a large scale. Emmanuel Macron, the French president since 2017, in his own speech, he has delivered a speech to the youth in the African countries, and then promised them that he's going to have a new methodology of how he's going to deal with the new partnership with France and African countries in order to invest in training and methodologies of education. It's a new curricula. It's a new methodology that France is taking right now to upgrade their own way of ties. Yes, France is supporting such university. Could say that France is following this new upgraded policy. Yes, they are giving great interest towards youth, towards applied technologies, towards sustainable development in the whole continent. All these together are elements that could reflect the great interest of France towards the African continent, and also reflects a new directiveness of France in the African continent in the few and approaching future. Yes, this could come after the inauguration of Sinko University. They are going to launch a conference in Kenya. It's a French and African summit to be held. This summit, it reflects also the new directiveness of Kenya. Kenya is not speaking French country, so it's an East African country. So France is trying right now to have its own role to play in different countries, not just in African countries or French-speaking countries. So yes, they are having a new mechanism, not just to give interest towards French language and Francophonic countries. Yes, it's a court of directiveness, but they are now seeking different countries who are not speaking French. There are some kind of a great interest from France towards China for military interests. So France decided to deal this time in a different way. This is based on a great cooperation, mutual respect relations, a cooperation based on the desire on providing development for all the whole continent after long decades of exploiting such resources. Yes, France has exploited all the African resources previously and all the coalitions, but now France is now playing a very important role in order to achieve sustainable development, in order to compensate what happened previously. Yes, let me tell you something about the new components that Singapore University is depending on its own programs. Its programs related to climate change issues, especially not just European countries, but also African countries. There is a desire from the African countries to support and solve the issues issued by climate change. Yes, Singapore University here on Egyptian lands, it's an Egyptian message to support the Egyptian vision towards that can reflect the great message that France is playing.
مشاهدينا في هذا اليوم الخاص الذي نقدم.
In such a special day, we are here to provide a very exclusive coverage of all the proceedings of the inauguration of Senghor University opening, the French language international university in the service of African development. It's a main core of a strategic partnership which is transpassing a cross-border partnership. It's related to good partnership and strategic partnerships among the Francophonic and Egyptian and French partnerships. Of course, it establishes the idea of smart universities have international partnerships here in Egypt. This idea related to smart universities and localizations of such smart universities is a very important, significant intervention that depend most of the time in the education perspective. So it has a great accreditation in all levels in the field of smart education and depending on innovation, creativity in order to confront all the bottlenecks and the challenges that the African continent is facing. This is the main objective of Senghor University is irrigating right now in order to solve in the city of Burj Al Arab. As we have mentioned previously, there are previous and scientific programs related to master degree programs. We do have 37 postgraduate master degrees for students in the field of different curricula in Senghor University, and we have a large number of students to serve as students in order to be capitalized with the large 10 hidden capacity in such headquarter in Burj Al Arab city. For sure, it making the whole university is playing a very important role through different buildings, educational patterns in order to achieve the goals in order to upgrade and include AI, digital technology, and also digital transformation to indulge all these methodologies in the education processes. Yes, we have repeated the word of innovation. It's the main aim of all programs being learned, being taught here in Senghor University's departments. Innovation and then innovation and then innovation, creativity and excellence. It's the very good environment that could help that the students are going to benefit from. This is the main aim that Egypt as a state is seeking, to have great international partnership universities. Smart universities is one of the main messages that Egypt gives a great interest towards the Egyptian interest towards using the new modern and contemporary Egyptian education system. This is the main aim of Senghor universities. It gives great perspective, which is the African, modern African education, to build the African citizen, to upgrade the African student to be more capable to confront all the challenges and issues and bottlenecks that he's facing or she's facing in our own black continent. Speaking of such an irrigation in such a very critical time, it's a kind of a message, not just for the African continent, not also for the OIF, but for the whole world, as Egypt is giving great interest towards anything related to heritage, culture, and art. So it links all cultures together. Previously, we have found the great delegations of different leaders here in Egypt together in a very international and world event, which is the present towards the whole world, which is the Grand Egyptian Museum, open again on irrigation. We had different leaders towards our own place, Sharm el-Sheikh, to sign the peace agreement, the peace convention. So Egypt is the qibla of all countries related to stability, stability, security, and peace that Egypt is always calling for. Yes, Egypt is a very important country in order to call for peace and contain its own methodology in the field of peace, security, and also higher education. That's why we're here to open the new Senghor University. It's a clear message that says that Egypt is the capital of the whole world, culture-wise, security-wise, stability-wise, and peace-wise, through its own call continuously towards all these objectives. These are the new and apprehended objectives that Senghor University is trying to achieve. Yes, Egypt Egypt has enrolled toward the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie in 1970. Afterward, they have established this university in 1990. Yes, Egypt is trying to do that through different kind of conference to be held, being conducted on our own land, Sharm el-Sheikh, of Peace Convention to stop war in Gaza. It was a very important role that Egypt played. This is the new strategic plan that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is adopting. Our own main aim is to achieve stability and peace in the whole countries all over abroad, and call also to preserve the sovereignty of countries and also not to engage with its own inner affairs. All these messages could say that Egypt is following a very steady post, not just for calling for stability and long-term peace, but also here localization of smart universities that have international partnerships that we have in different countries. Senghor has 27 branches in Europe and Africa. Senghor University, the French language international university, in the service of achieving the African development through the SDGs. It has 50 partnerships with different universities hosting more than 200 students, and expected that number to be upgraded with the new capacity being added of 10 Feden to be added in this new headquarter in Burj Al Arab city. These are the figures that we all keep looking at. Figures never mistaken. Yes, it has great annotation and it has great reasoning that could say the great impact that all the university's standing point has, and also could say the great strength of Egypt in different levels. And today we can add these openings towards our own heritage perspective and culture perspective, and also we can add such an event as a great impeller to deepen the African and French-Egyptian ties under the hospitality of His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, because he's going to be here, and the great and official inauguration of His Excellency Emmanuel Macron. And we can recall his own visit to Khan al-Khalili and Hussein districts. It was full of friendly emotions, especially talking about French and Egyptian ties. That's this great closeness of great visions in order to work together towards their current challenges that they're facing, and the mutual visits being